All right, and so up next, we got a nice featherweight bout. We got an exciting young prospect in Ricky Simon, or I don't know if you can call him a prospect anymore, but an
Mm-hmm.
exciting young fighter in Ricky Simon taking on the
Mm-hmm.
vet in Brian Kelleher. So,
Mm-hmm.
Simon, he comes in with a 17-3 record, sparkling, man. He's 5-2 in the UFC. This specific fight, it was supposed to take place a few times, but due to a couple cancellations, we get it at UFC 258. So, looking forward to this one. Simon, he's won two in a row. He defeated Ray Borg in 2020, and he literally fought 2 weeks ago and beat Gaetano Pirello. Like I said, at the end of January. So he's excited. He's ready to get back in the ring. His two notable UFC losses do come against Rob Font and Uriah Faber. So credible names as well. On the flip side, we got Brian. Brian has a 22-11 record, 6-4 in the UFC. And he honestly, man, he had quite a busy 2020. He took on 4 fights. So, kudos to him. He did go 3-1 in those fights, defeating Ode Osborne, Hunter Azur, and Ray Rodriguez, who was his most recent one. He won in 40 seconds, I believe. His lone loss came to Cody Stamann, who we'll actually see fight tomorrow on UFC Vegas 18. So, also a very credible loss there. And I'm really looking forward to this one, man. Give us a little bit more on this one.
Yeah, so you kind of hit a little bit on the quality of opponent there, right? So the one time he did face a guy like Cody Stamann, who was going 3 rounds with Jimmie Rivera, who's going to be on the main card as well. Like, these are the kind of guys where you really dictate, are you ready for the ranked type of fighters? I think Brian Kelleher is a great striker. I think he's going to bring what, Simon might need to see a bit more of. I think Simon's grappling continues to look very, very good. When you look at the last fight, I think that was almost like just a feeler fight, right? When you think about who he should have fought and all those kinds of things, like he just looked so dominant. The lines dictated that. You mentioned it best, like Rob Font, like talk about a guy who's come back. Like that's a guy that everyone's going to be watching now. His last fight was a massive win over Marlon Moraes. And I think that's a guy that we really need to keep our eyes on. I think he's going to be absolutely dominant. And Uriah Faber back in 2019, who is definitely, on his way out. So that's more kudos to Uriah Faber for how good he is. But I do think that the not worrying about a weight cut, right? Because Ricky Simon was fighting at 135 most of the time, and he gets to fight this fight at 145. I think that has a lot to do with, fighting so recently. Fighters seem to be getting that opportunity to maybe just, jump that 10 pounds. So don't have to worry about that extra cut, come fight day. And so I'm excited about that part of it. I think he needs to try and eliminate the striking battle as much as possible, right? I think that Brian Kelleher is going to be able to really dictate some of that boxing, and his power is very underrated, right? We've seen him kind of really drop some guys. And in the fight that, he fought, I felt like Stamann is one of the best. The only guy to ever finish Brian Kelleher is John Lineker. And I think John Lineker to this day might be considered the best flyweight in terms of power. His power punching, his highlight reel when it came to just laying guys, that was pretty phenomenal. Guys started figuring him out, and once he got into the higher ranks, it was a different story. But, in the early part, he was just absolutely boom, 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 just flatlining dudes. And so that says a lot about Kelleher, his chin, his durability, because look at the record, right? He's been around the block. So I think this is absolutely one of the most underrated fights. And the fact that it's on the prelim is actually kind of surprising. I think this could even be a pay-per-view fight, if not maybe the fight that leads us into the pay-per-view.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. And, that was kind of the hype that Ricky Simon got on the last one, touching on the last one. He did take it within short notice and touching on the line. I believe he closed somewhere at like a minus 500 himself, right? So it shows the dominance that this guy puts forward for sure. So let's dive right into the line here. Who do you see being the favorite and by how much?
Yeah, so like my big issue right now is even when you look at some of the fights that have been taking place, right? All this short notice stuff and all these things, like that's where you have to really dive in if you want to start betting on people, because guess what? The UFC has fights where guys with, 7-3 records are just jumping into fights and guys are getting wins against them. So don't just be looking at people's wins and loss records, because there's definitely some difference to, what it used to be, if you will. But yeah, I do think this is one where you have to give Ricky Simon the edge here. When you look at who he has lost to in comparison, both guys lost to absolute beasts in their careers, but Rob Font, Uriah Faber, like those are elite level men's. And I think that you've seen Ricky Simon come back very strong against guys like Ray Borg and Gaetano Pirello. So I have to give Ricky Simon the edge here. And I can't give him much. So maybe that 400 was a big of a issue last time, but I'm going to go with a minus 170.
Okay, so he's actually a little bit outside that realm. He is a little bit more favored than that. It is currently minus 275.
Okay.
On the books here. Yeah.
I can see that. Based on the last fight and the line that was, that lines up fairly well.
A lot of hype on Simone here for sure. So, hey, I'm not sure if you have a lean here or anything like that, but I could see Simone being sprinkled into some parlays for us.
Most definitely, but I also think fights like these, right, guys who are just always going after it, I kind of like the aspect of these unders, right? You got the power puncher versus the guy who just wants to take your back and submit you. And when you think about it, like we said, it's not like we need Simone to knock out, Kelleher, which is the really tough thing to do, if you will. I just think that if both guys have a chance at winning to that level, you really do see the opportunity for both of them having a chance to win, which is something to keep an eye on when you're thinking about overs and unders, because, I think that's something to keep in mind.
For sure. So, as those get released, we'll be taking a look at those. And if there's any lean that we have, we'll be sure to post it for you guys.
If Uriah can do it in 2019, Brian Kelleher can do it in 2021.
2021, man. Crazy.
Right?
Crazy.
I thought it was crazier that Uriah Faber fought in 2019 for some reason. I don't know why.
That was a true treat. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that bell button if you haven't already done so. Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff is down there. Give us a follow. Pics will be on there. Always a treat with you, Mr. Sukuman.
My man, Mr. Paisan.
We'll see you guys soon, man.
Peace.